Good evening. Welcome. Video of this meeting is streamed on YouTube and will also be available on Facebook and the Village website. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask Clerk Saladino to call the roll.
Trustee Augustine.
Here.
Trustee Gale.
Here.
Trustee McGee.
Here.
Trustee O'Brien.
Here.
Trustee Peterson.
Here.
Trustee Thompson.
Here.
President Kukler.
Here. And we have a full house. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We appreciate it. We had a busy weekend at the Village. We started Saturday morning at 8 o'clock here for the budget workshop to discuss the proposed fiscal year 26-27 budget. Our budget year runs from May 1st through April 30th. The Village Board heard the budget proposal, engaged with staff in making refinements to the budget. Again, all the department heads also came in on Saturday, and we appreciate your efforts on that. The proposed budget includes funding for flood. Oh, I think I'm jumped ahead of everybody. So I'll stop and restart because people probably want to say that the Pledge of Allegiance, and who else knows what I skipped it? And now we have John Pluto here, so that's good. We'll start over with the pledge. John, don't sit down.
Please stand. Please stand.
To the flag, United States of America.
To the republic, one nation, God, indivisible.
Okay, again, getting back to the budget. I think I'm on course here, right? All right, good. As always, our staff did an excellent job presenting the budget. The budget was thoughtful, strategic, positioned to best support LaGrange residents in a manner that best uses the tax dollars. A public hearing regarding the proposed fiscal year 2026-27 budget is scheduled for Monday, March 23rd, 2 weeks from today, with consideration of the approval of the budget scheduled for April 13th. After the budget meeting, we went over to Countryside and participated in the Countryside Parade. I thank people that came out, including Village Manager Knight and Public Works Director Timothy O'Brien and his daughter Hazel. It was great to have her helping pass out candy, and it was a great afternoon. So it was wonderful, and hopefully if you were out there, we threw you some candy. We also concluded this weekend Restaurant Week, and I hope that people took the opportunity, I know I did, to experience this much look forward annual event. It provides a great opportunity to visit and enjoy some of the best LaGrange has to offer. I want to thank the LGBA for coordinating this event. It always draws attention to the many great restaurants. We had over 20 that participated, and that obviously they call LaGrange their home. Looking forward, a couple of things. I'd like to start by inviting Linda Christensen to the podium. Linda's with the League of Women Voters, and she's going to briefly talk about an event that's happening Thursday at 7 p.m. at the library, and I'll give you the mic. I'm not sure that it is.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Oh, great. Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to speak this evening about an event that we have scheduled, as Mark said, on this coming Thursday evening at 7 o'clock at the library, and it's on the subject of artificial turf in our communities. You know that our communities are becoming increasingly concerned about whether to replace our natural grass athletic fields with artificial turf. And an organization, the Sustainability Institute at Montclair State University in New Jersey, has done a study on this, and they'll be presenting their findings to us via Zoom on Thursday evening. And we're also expecting a short presentation from Jenny Bechtold, who's the executive director of our LaGrange Park District, on the various the issues that they weighed and considered in making their decisions about our LaGrange parks. So again, I hope you can all be there. You can register online at the library, but it's not necessary to do that. You can just show up. It begins at 7 in the Durkee's room at the LaGrange Library. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And that's being presented by the League of Women Voters of the LaGrange area, as well as Go Green, Greater LaGrange. So thanks a lot for your efforts in that regard. Again, talking about spring, the week of April 20th, we will have the spring cleanup, again, where Flood Brothers will take all of your discarded household items. You do have to put on one sticker, a specially marked sticker for spring cleanup. We recommend that you don't put it on till the morning of, because a lot of people have their things taken by and reused by people that drive through the village to one person's junk is another person's treasure. So there's a lot of people that do drive around. Put your stickers on first thing in the morning. Flood Brothers does come out early, and they will take whatever remaining. I do want to mention a couple of things that were discussed during the budget process that are available for our residents, and more information on our webpage. The 50/50 overhead sewer program. The village will contribute up to 50% of the cost for an overhead sewer in your home. It's a great idea. If your home is not equipped with one, do it while we're able to offer this cost savings. Along with the 50/50, we have the 50/50 sidewalk program. If the sidewalk in front of your house is in need of repair, you can get on our list, and we share the cost with the homeowner. We take care of the contractor and getting it all done, and it should run smoothly. And so we're encouraging anyone that's interested to get on our list so that we make sure we repair your sidewalk. And with that, I would ask if there any village manager report.
There is. Thank you, President Kukler, and good evening, everybody. I'd like to extend my appreciation to the village board for their guidance in crafting next year's budget. I'd also like to thank our interim director, Mappy, the village's management team, and other staff members that worked very hard on a budget that continues to uphold the village's reputation for providing excellent services. So thank you. In the coming weeks, staff will be working to finalize the document in preparation for that public hearing on the 23rd. Secondly, we have village stickers and pet tags available. The village recently announced this availability, and it's in the renewal period. As a reminder, vehicle stickers are now virtual, saving individuals the hassle of adhering and removing decals from their vehicle. In an effort to improve the renewal process and make it more convenient, the village offers a quick and easy way to purchase them online. Renewals can now be completed by submitting the requested information along with payment, and that is available through April 30th, 2026. As always, we appreciate the efforts of our finance team in heading up this important process. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Manager Knight. With that, I'd like to request Clerk Saladino read the items on the consent agenda, followed by those appearing under our current business.
Matters on the consent agenda will be considered by a single motion and vote because they already have been considered fully by the board at a previous meeting or have been determined to be of a routine nature. Any member of the Board of Trustees may request that an item be moved from the consent agenda to current business for separate consideration. Item A, a resolution authorizing participation in a joint salt purchase master contract for the purchase of rock salt. Item B, minutes of the Village of LaGrange Board of Trustees regular meeting February 9th, 2026. And item C, the March 9th, 2026 consolidated voucher. Current business. This agenda item includes consideration of matters being presented to the Board of Trustees for action. Item A, an ordinance approving a variation from the LaGrange zoning code for fence location at 521 West Elm Avenue. Item B, a resolution approving a temporary use permit for Watermelon Kids LLC at 25 South LaGrange Road. Item C, ordinances approving a zoning code amendment for authorized special uses within the C1 commercial zoning district and a special use permit for health-focused retail with accessory medical services and site plan for for 110 West Callender Avenue. And item D, a resolution approving a contract for the purchase of electricity from the lowest cost electricity provider for commercial accounts through the Northern Illinois Municipal Electric Collaborative Bid Process. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Clerk Saladino. The next item on tonight's agenda is public comments regarding agenda items. In order to ensure that all may be heard, we ask that individuals seeking to speak conclude their statements within 3 minutes. At this time, I'd like to ask if anyone in the audience has comments on tonight's agenda items.
Good evening. Randy Valenta, 19 South LaGrange Road, resident and landlord. I'm rising tonight to comment about the item 6C regarding the amendment and special use permit that you're considering after careful deliberation in the Plan Committee. I support that amendment and all that it took to get to this point, with the Plan Commission recommending that we adopt those amendments so this business can reside here in LaGrange. I've seen these businesses. They're growing quite a bit these last years. They're becoming very popular, and I believe it would be a great addition to our LaGrange environment, both on a personal and a commercial level. I want to see our downtown doing great. I want to see more people on the sidewalk. I want to see more people enjoying themselves, aside from just the restaurants. And it's becoming more and more difficult to get valid retail into our spaces downtown, what with the changing retail landscape over the last 20 years. This is one of those changes that has been adopted by many retailers to combine their businesses with services, and it's the type of service that I think is going to go well with the wellness components that we already have in the village, from stretch labs to Brazilian waxing. People in LaGrange are conscious about their health, and I think that this business will help our downtown thrive. It'll help us move forward in the right direction, and I hope you support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Jonathan Robinson, I'm a resident. In regards to 6C, there's 100 other places in this village that business can go. It's a relatively small amount of restricted area. It's simply the first level in the central business district. Why does it have to be this one place now? Why? Rewriting our code should be an absolute last resort. Absolute last resort. I'm going to remind you, this is the third time in the last 10 months that the same owner's property has rewritten our zoning code. This is 3 times. In May of 2025, at 108 East Callender, we included 5 short-term rentals. We added them specifically by address into our code. We couldn't even find another way to do that. I'd remind you that the Plan Commission recommended that you not approve that. I'd also like to suggest that the president said that the public feedback was 50-50, but somehow it was unanimously 100% agreed upon and voted through. In January 12th, the 112 East Burlington project, the Jackson Square project, rewrote the maximum height that buildings are allowed everywhere in this village. Again, we rewrote the code to accommodate somebody's want. I'd like to note there were 8 other significant provisions of the zoning code that were disregarded. And today we're back at 110 East Callender, same owner, and we're rewriting our zoning code. Rewriting our zoning code 3 times in the last 10 months for properties owned by one owner doesn't seem reasonable. If nothing else, the optics of the situation are highly questionable.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sarah Boyce, and I spoke at the Plan Commission concerning the same 6C on the health and service retail business that's going in. I'm a chiropractor that is within 50 feet of that space, and I've been in Grange for over 9 years, and I was told that I could not be on the first floor as a service-based business 9 years ago, and I abided by those rules all these years. And so now Dr. Alex wants to come in and do the retail aspect, which I don't have an issue with, but when I read through, I don't see anything specifically. I know it said not chiropractic, but there isn't anything saying that he's not going to perform these chiropractic services in the special assessment. And he stated in the Plan Commission that he would like that written in there, that chiropractic services will not be performed. Makes me very nervous, being that he's on the first floor, he's at 110, and I'm at 114 West Callender. Any of my patients that are new to the area will see chiropractor on the window or whatever and walk right in there. So that's a big concern for me. It's a concern, too, for the future, in that my lease is up in a few years. Will these additional tax amendments and special use permits continue on for other service-based businesses like myself to then be able to provide those services on the first floor with adaptations that you're making? So I'm just wanted to make that point, that this does set a precedent for the future in other service-based businesses going forward and applying to have retail in the front and services in the back. It's, again, something that I was interested in doing 9 years ago, and it was not allowed. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no more comments, I would ask for presentation of the consent agenda.
I move for a vote on the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Gale and Trustee O'Brien. Any comments on the consent agenda?
President Kukler, as previously stated, I recuse myself on any matters on the consent agenda pertaining to the village prosecutor.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Thompson.
Aye.
Trustee Peterson.
Aye.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien.
Aye.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
Thank you, and that passes unanimously. Next up is current business. We do have 4 items. Under A, an ordinance approving a variation from the Grange zoning code for fence location at 521 West Elm. And I'd ask Trustee Thompson to introduce that.
Thank you, President Kugler. Alex and Dennis Bone are the owners and applicant of the property located at 521 West Elm Avenue and 211 South Wayola Avenue, the subject property. The applicant applied for variations from the zoning code sections 3-110G.12, minimum setback for garages, 3-110G.9, side and rear yard regulations for accessory uses and structures, and 9-105D, fence prohibited locations to allow the construction of an accessory structure within the R4 single-family resident district. On January 15, 2026 and February 19, 2026, the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on the application. The subject property is 2 lots comprised of 4 lots of record. Currently, 512 West Elm is improved with a single-family home and related accessorial structures, as is 211 South Wayola. The applicant is proposing to demolish the existing single-family home and accessory structures on 512 West Elm, leaving the existing family home at 211 South Wayola Avenue. The applicant proposed variations to accommodate the construction of an attached garage, conversion of existing detached garage to a pool house, and a fence along Elm Avenue and Wayola Avenue frontages. The request of relief was largely necessitated by the proposed consolidation of the 2 lots into 1 zoning lot. The ZBA found that the requested variations were not the only means by which the applicant's hardship could be remedied to a degree sufficient to permit a reasonable use of the subject property, Under the zoning code, the applicant may use only 3 of 4 lots of record and leave the northernmost lot of 512 West Elm Avenue as a separate unimproved developable lot of record. 211 South Wyola, comprised of 3 lots of record, would then remain as a separate zoning lot. Then the only proposed fence would require a variation, and the proposed garage addition and pool house conversion would be permissible under the code. After the hearing was closed, the ZBA deliberated and initially voted 3-2 to recommend approval of all requested variations. After further deliberations, the ZBA voted 5-0 to recommend approval of the lesser variation, zoning code section 9-10-5D, fence prohibited location to allow construction of the proposed fence. Staff and the village attorney have prepared the attached ordinance that would approve the authorization of the fence variation. Staff recommends approval of the proposed ordinance is reflective in the zoning board appeals and recommendations. I make a motion that we pass this item.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Thompson. Trustee Gale, any discussion regarding this? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee Thompson?
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Congratulations to homeowners. B is a resolution approving a temporary use permit for Water Lemon Kids LLC at 25 South LaGrange Road. I'd like to invite Trustee Gale to provide an overview of this item.
Thank you, Mr. President. Water Lemon Kids LLC has requested approval of a temporary use to provide drop-off, supervised play, and children's activities in the month of April. Section 9-103 of the zoning code allows temporary uses that are established for a fixed period of time and does not involve any permanent construction. Code specifies certain temporary uses that may be approved by staff. It provides that other temporary uses may be approved by the village board so long as the temporary use is consistent with the code purposes and intents for temporary uses in the zoning district in which the proposed temporary use is located, and if the general limitations for all temporary uses listed in section 9-103E are met. Water Lemon Kids is a children's indoor recreation facility with a special use permit in the C-1CR zoning district. The business includes a play area, cafe space, and retail showroom. As a children's indoor recreation facility, their play area may only be used by children under the direct supervision of a parent or guardian. Water Lemon Kids is considering adding occasional drop-off services where parents can leave children for a short duration to engage in supervised activities. Before pursuing amendments to their special use permit, Water Lemon Kids would like to conduct a pilot program through a temporary use permit. The proposed pilot program would offer play and activities for school-age children on Fridays in April from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. The proposed drop-off program would have no impact on the business's hours of operation or overall capacity and would not constitute a daycare requiring a licensure through the Illinois Department of Child and Family Services. Staff recommends approval, and I move for approval of the resolution authorizing a temporary use for Water Lemon Kids at their location 25 South LaGrange Road.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Thompson. Any discussion regarding this matter? Trustee Augustine.
It's more of a comment. I like what they're trying to do here with Water Lemon. I like that it's a continual iteration of a business. It's a creative iteration, and congratulations on how much you've done to evolve and make this better and better with each unique idea that you have. So you've come before us a few times, and they've all been great ideas, and I love to see that you continue to thrive in that space. It's a really nice addition, and it's one of a kind in terms of the type of business that you provide in this town. There's nothing like it. It's a pilot program, I understand that, and I was just wondering, I didn't see it in here, so there's probably an easy answer, is it's about a month-long pilot to see how that works out. Is that long enough? And if it isn't long enough, if we might need more, could we grant that just in case you see it moving but you're not quite sure? Because it might take a while for the word to get out and for things to catch on.
If you're going to talk, though, you just have to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Nina with Water Lemon. Nice to see all of you again, and thank you for your kind words. Yes, we decided 4 weeks might be a nice run for the pilot, and the hope would be that it would be successful and well received by the community, and that it could potentially turn into something longer term.
Great. Well, I hope it goes well, one way or the other.
Thank you.
Thanks. Trustee Gale.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had a couple questions, I think more directed for Charity. When I read through this at first, or before I read through it all, I thought, this is potentially a daycare, but of course we've made very careful boundaries here, or there are boundaries here. But if you know, like what sort of, where is that line? What constitutes when something becomes a daycare, if you know?
Well, it's multifaceted. There's a variety of different requirements that apply, but in that this is school-age children and it's only for 3 hours, 1 day a week, it does not meet the thresholds of requiring licensure as a daycare.
Right. I figured that. I was wondering what if this is successful and they want to then expand it, sort of what are the boundaries that they might bump up against if you know.
Sure. So there are some boundaries that they would bump up against if they wanted to expand significantly the number of hours involved, or potentially with younger children, there may be some additional requirements as well.
Okay. Do you have a sense on like the number of hours or the amount of kids, or that's it's a bridge too far? All right. Thanks. No, I think it sounds like a great pilot program. I think you should be conscious of what's the requirements are as you expand it. But yeah, I think it's fine.
Thank you.
Oh, I have a question.
Okay.
Is it your plan to have this pilot program expand longer than the 4 weeks, or?
As of right now, no, just the month of April.
Just for the month of April?
And then we would probably reassess.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other trustee comments, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
Trustee Thompson?
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Thank you. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you all.
Next up is C, an ordinance approving a zoning code amendment for authorized special uses within the C1 commercial zoning district and a special use permit for health-focused retail with assessor medical services and site for the 110 West Callender Avenue. I'd like to invite Trustee Peterson to provide an overview and introduce this item.
Thank you, President Kukler. Dr. Alex, the applicant, the lessee at 110 West Callender, the subject property, has requested a text amendment to Section 5-105C of the zoning code to allow health-focused retail business with accessory medical services as a special use in first floor storefront spaces within the C1 district, and 2, a special use permit and site plan to operate a health-focused retail business with accessory medical services called Remedy Wellness at the subject property. No exterior work is proposed. The retail sales proposed by the applicant are a permitted use in the C1 zoning district. The proposed services the applicant intends to provide in conjunction with retail sales are currently prohibited by the zoning code at the location referenced in the application. Offices and clinics of doctors of medicine, dentists, osteopaths, chiropractors, optometrists, podiatrists, and other health practitioners are not allowed in first floor storefront locations in the core portion of C1 district, the C-1CR. This prohibition extends to traditional doctors' offices, but also includes nutritionists, physical therapists, dietitians, naturopaths, midwives, mental health practitioners, nurses, and med spas. The applicant intends to open Remedy Wellness, a retail storefront with wellness services located in the rear of the store. The services proposed by the applicant include intravenous IV treatments, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and B12 injections. The applicant has stated that all services offered would not require a prescription from a doctor. The proposed storefront will have a retail area of over 960 square feet and roughly 39 feet deep, occupying the full width of the storefront abutting Calendar Avenue. The proposed wellness services will occupy an area of over 300 square feet in the rear of the property. This case was heard by the Plan Commission on February 10th, 2026. The commissioners found that the proposed text amendment is in keeping with the goals of the Village Zoning Code and the Comprehensive Plan by maintaining a required retail component and limiting the concentration of potential similar services in the C1 Commercial District. The Plan Commission narrowed the proposed text amendment from all uses within CIC Code 804 to only those within CIC Code 8049. The original language would have allowed for offices and clinics of chiropractors, optometrists, podiatrists, and health practitioners not elsewhere classified. The amended language only allows health practitioners not elsewhere classified, a category which includes practitioners such as naturopaths, dietitians, physical therapists, and mental health professionals, but not other offices such as chiropractors, optometrists, or podiatrists. The Plan Commission recommended several conditions for the special use permit that seek to maintain a substantial retail element of all businesses. After deliberation, the Plan Commission voted 4-2 to recommend approval of the application with modification and conditions. Staff have prepared text for the ordinances. I move to approve the ordinance for zoning code text amendment for authorizing special uses within the C1 commercial zoning district.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Peterson, and I believe Trustee Augustine, did you second? Trustee Augustine for the second. I'll open it up for discussion. I am going to discuss, and I am strongly against it, but I'll either talk first or last. So if a trustee wants to talk before me, I'd give them the floor. If not, I'll talk. Trustee Peterson.
Yes, we talked about hiring. We sent out an RFP for a consultant to review the zoning code, and I had the opportunity to discuss this with Deputy Village Manager Charity Jones, and I agree with the staff recommendation to oppose this. I will not be supporting this.
Thank you, Trustee Peterson. Trustee Augustine.
You go.
Okay, I can go. To me, this isn't a hard decision. This is an easy decision. I've said it in other forums. I don't believe that we should be changing our zoning code for the Central Business District. Flat out. I don't believe we should be changing the zoning code for our Central Business District. Our Central Business District is only from 6th to Ashland, Burlington to Cosset, and in the center has a large parking lot. There's not that many businesses that are in the Central Business District. The boards previous to us said, we really want to keep this retail and restaurant. We have a lot of other areas throughout the village that don't have those same requirements. We're doing it just for the Central Business District. It has worked well for the village. We have won the awards for having the best suburban downtown, not the towns that don't do this. I don't see why we would ever change. But what's before us today is an applicant coming in and saying, change your whole code in the Central Business District to allow my business. That's not how we should be going about the zoning code. This isn't asking for a special use. It's asking to change the code. And staff recommended against it because it shouldn't be done this way. Flat out, it should not be done this way. Now, if for some reason the majority of the board, 4 trustees, disagree with me and change the code tonight, I would say it shouldn't be a special use. This is a business that should not be in the central business district. There are areas that this business could operate. The business that is directly north of McDonald's on Grange Road is available. It specifically says it's open for medical or retail. It's on Grange Road. Opportunity for signage. It is literally railroad tracks, Walgreens, McDonald's, it's building real close to the central business district. They could go there tomorrow. We also heard from Dr. Boyce. She's upstairs with the chiropractic practice. She's indicated she would have rather been on the first floor. We should want retail on the first floor, not chiropractic on the first floor. Changing the rules will give less opportunity for retail. My family goes to the dental loft. They did a beautiful job building out a dental office on the second floor. Again, that's what we're encouraging in our central business district. Those type of businesses being on the second floor. The applicant's business should be on the second floor, the non-retail portion. The retail is allowed, but we should not be carving away more and more in taking opportunity away from retail. So again, to me, it's a simple answer. And I know that people talk, and it was said today about the changing retail, but I can tell you, in today's Wall Street Journal, it says, and again, it was specific more to malls, but it was for all retail, Gen Z's mall rats are a welcome sight at physical stores. It goes on to say about how much more Gen Z is spending than the older generations at physical retail stores. Let's keep retail in our central business district. Let's give retail a chance by mandating to the landlords, you can't go to the person who's going to pay you the highest dollar rent. Retail, restaurant in this small area. And now I'll open it up. Trustee Augustine.
Thank you, President Kukler. This is retail. It's absolutely retail. So there's no doubt about it to me, which is why I think it was so appealing to the Plan Commission. Plan Commission took 2 meetings to think this one through. They patiently talked through the pros and the cons, and they created rules around and code changes around ways to make this fit without damaging existing businesses. But this is retail. This board and previous boards have allowed things that aren't really at all retail in recent years. We have many gyms, workout facilities that sell really no retail, but we've allowed them in. So we've been making exceptions, and we've been making exceptions for years. And one of the reasons we make exceptions is our code is very old. It was written when most of these buildings were filled with genuine old school, old-fashioned retail. We rarely get applicants anymore that look or feel retail. We've recently got a lovely business that sells soaps, which is great, Mayan, I think. But other than that, we haven't had too many retail shops come in lately. I was thrilled to see this concept come through. Yes, it's health-focused retail business with, medical services, but it's mainly retail, and that is why we considered an exception, which is why we originally considered an exception for a co-working space on a first floor in this district when they were going to provide retail. We're interested in retail. This is retail, and it's more retail. It's majority of the space, 70 to 75%. I'm not sure exactly where we landed there. Will be selling services or selling items that are health-related. Maybe the applicant can get up and speak to that. But I was really impressed. I sat in on both those Plan Commission's meetings because I was interested. So I thought that the Plan Commission did an extremely thoughtful and careful job thinking this through. I think this will be good for our retail mix. It doesn't change much, but our code rewrite that Trustee Peterson referenced is at best a year away from today. So are we saying we're not going to allow anything that doesn't fit inside our 1990s code to come in? I mean, we have a zoning board of appeals, a ZBA, and we have a plan commission. Those are review boards, and they review things that are code and statute and make exceptions all the time. That's how we change and grow. So I don't understand how something like this, which is very much a retail concept, would not be allowed in there. So I am appreciative that the business that came into not just that spot, but next door to it, which is also retail, are so that's a new one. It's a hobby shop. They sell Legos and models. It's fantastic. I don't know that everyone has seen it yet. I think they're in more of a soft open phase. But to have 2 new retail environments in that area, I can't remember the last time something has happened in that sequence. So I'm all for this. I know it's maybe scary to some people. I don't see anyone taking advantage of it. I certainly hope this applicant doesn't. I can't imagine they will, and I hope that this works out for them. But I'm excited to see LaGrange being open-minded, willing to iterate, be creative, and I don't think we need more gyms and restaurants, and those are the ones that can afford to pay these rents. If we've got a retail business that can come in and they think they can make it work, I'm interested in seeing it happen.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Trustee McGee.
I would just like to say I'm kind of in the ballpark with Trustee Peterson and President Kukler. We've had similar discussions before about what type of businesses we want in certain areas of the community. And I have to say that I'm against this because we can't, every time someone comes up with an idea of doing something, decide to change zoning codes just to appease one person. We discussed this a couple years ago. I can't remember the specifics, but we only wanted retail businesses on our first floors. And as President Kukler stated earlier, we have the area that's, as he said, next to McDonald's. They have all type of medical facilities and stuff there. So I think it would be wise for you to consider another location versus the central business district. So I can't support this proposal.
Thank you, Trustee McGee. Trustee Thompson.
Just one question first. Rosin Eye Care, are they under a grandfather clause or an exemption to the zone?
Optical goods stores with an office of an optometrist is a permitted use in the zoning district.
Well, it says it's not allowed.
No, it is. An optical goods store with the office of an optometrist is permitted.
Oh, so an optometrist in the lab, but they have a retail section
Optical
in the
goods
front.
store with an optometrist. Yes, it was actually, previous to that was a non-conforming use. That it's been an optical goods store with an optometrist for decades at that location, right? And in, I believe it was 2018, the village amended the code to make it clear that that was a permitted use. In the research at the time, it was found that broadly throughout the area, optical goods stores almost always include an office of an optometrist in order to generate the prescription required to purchase the optical goods, because in Illinois, for glasses or contact lenses, you have to have a valid prescription within the last 12 months.
Thank you. President Kukler, the property that's just north of McDonald's, I was looking at it the other day because of what happened with 14 South LaGrange last week, but that whole building has 3 parking places, and that's it. So it's not really usable for any type of business that's going to go in as a semi-retail place. There's no parking. McDonald's has clearly made their parking lot their parking lot. I would assume that that building's almost unbuyable unless it's torn down and reconfigured, because there's no place to park. The alley's too narrow. I do wonder, we have several vacant properties. The old Anderson's bookstore's vacant. We don't have a tenant for it. We've now learned that 14 South LaGrange, the old Chase Bank, is back on the market for sale. So there's no development going on there. That's going to have to go through a whole new remarketing process. So we have a lot of vacant retail space downtown. I think we have to continue to look for businesses that bring in retail and some services to bring foot traffic into town. We need to feed our restaurants, our coffee shops. These businesses bring a lot of foot traffic for people that spend money, like the Water Lemon Kids Place. All these businesses drive foot traffic into the downtown area to bring spending in other areas. And I think it's very important that we continue to modify our retail businesses to match a modern section. I agree, malls may be coming back, and they're going to build new Barnes and Nobles, but they're not going to build one in LaGrange. We have to start finding creative ways to drive people to downtown LaGrange. And so I support this program just because I think we do need to continue to look for creative retail businesses in the downtown area.
Thank you, Trustee Thompson. Trustee Gale.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just had two points to make. One, I think this text amendment just goes too far from the retail, restaurant, entertainment core that we've tried to preserve. And the second point is I just don't know how, if we say yes to this, I don't know how we don't say yes to doctors, to dentists, to others on the first floor. I just don't see a practical distinction between the two. So I'm not in favor of it.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. Seeing no other comments, I would call for a roll call vote.
Trustee Peterson?
No.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Nay.
Trustee Thompson?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
No.
Trustee O'Brien?
Nay.
And with that, I won't vote. It's 4-2. It fails. Again, I would encourage you to look at places outside of our central business district. We would like to have your business in LaGrange. The next matter, if I could ask Attorney Schuster to tell us where we're at now with this next matter.
So that was a text amendment. The next is the application for a special use. Because a text amendment failed, we can't legally grant a special use. So, if regardless of whether
before you leave, maybe he didn't hear. I think we have to vote now against him because he can't withdraw. He chose not to stay.
Yep. So we can't grant it because the text of our code does not allow it. So even if you were generally in favor of the text amendment, under our standards, we can't approve a special use. So,
Do I need to make the motion?
you can make a motion to deny the special use application or deny the ordinance.
But again, I don't know if there's any confusion there. For the trustees that voted aye in that, they can't really vote still aye. I mean, you could, but it's not law abiding anymore.
It wouldn't meet our standards because the text does not allow the granting of a special use.
And if the applicant was here, we'd give him the opportunity to withdraw the motion,
Yep.
but he left, so we don't have that, so we have it sitting here. That's why we have to go through this vote.
So the appropriate motion would be.
Could you abstain from voting?
You could, if you wanted to.
Maybe that's an answer.
But yeah, so the appropriate motion would be a motion to deny the ordinance granting the special use.
Well, that's for me? All
Yes.
right, I'm writing this down. All right. I move to deny the ordinance granting the special use permit for the property known as 110 West Callender Avenue, LaGrange, Illinois, subject property.
A second.
Any discussion on that?
Yeah, I want to be clear. So an I vote is to vote to deny the special use, right?
Correct.
Okay.
One more time. So I vote to deny, is that, and I'm going to use that word, is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Seeing no other questions, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Peterson?
Deny?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Nay.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee Thompson?
Nay.
Okay, that passes. The denial passes 4-2. With that, we will move to D. Under current business, a resolution approving a contract for the purchase of electricity from the lowest cost electricity provider for commercial accounts through the Northern Illinois Municipal Electric collaborative bid process. And I'd invite Trustee McGee to present an overview of this item.
Thank you, Mr. President. Northern Illinois Municipal Electric Collaborative, NIMEC, currently serves as the broker for several of the village's electric accounts, helping to achieve savings of over 27%. NIMEC has been the village's electricity broker since 2014. NIMEC has extensive expertise in the Northern Illinois power market. NIMEC manages a buying collaborative aggregating the collective power of 160 plus Northern Illinois governmental organizations. The collective volume of the buying collaborative allows NIMEC to negotiate prices that are lower than what an individual municipality could negotiate on their own. NIMEC has provided excellent service to the village throughout the course of its serving as the village's broker. Prices within commodity markets, including electricity, are constantly fluctuating. As a result, NIMEC bid prices are only good for the one day on which they are provided. With a bid opening scheduled for March 11th, 2026, it is necessary for the village board to delegate signing authority to staff in order to accept the winning bid and enter into a contractual relationship in a timely fashion. This resolution pertains to the purchase of electricity for village-operated streetlights and water facilities. Staff recommends approval of the proposed resolution approving a contract for the purchase of electricity from the lowest cost electricity provider for commercial accounts through the Northern Illinois Municipal Electric Collaborative bid process. I make a motion that we accept this recommendation.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee McGee. Thank you, Trustee Gale. Any discussion regarding this matter? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
Trustee Thompson?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
And this matter passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to number seven, public comments regarding matters not on tonight's agenda. If anyone in the audience wishes to comment on matters not on tonight's agenda, please stand and approach the podium. If you would like to follow Mr. Foreman, feel free to get ready so we know who's next.
Hi, everyone. Al Foreman, 56 7th Avenue. Nice to see you again. I have thoughts on two threads. One is the soon-to-be-completed audit, and the second is the looking forward plan for the following year. So first on audit information, I think this may have come up Saturday. I'm sorry I missed it, but did we in fact get a preliminary report, and are we expecting to finalize it at the next meeting, or do we know?
Yeah, not to get into a question and answer, but yes, we got the draft audit, and it'll be presented at the next meeting. Is that how it works, scheduled?
That is correct. It'll be presented at the next meeting in March.
Okay. All right, I know it's not a question and answer, but again, just a process thing. My recollection, in fact, viewing back in December of 2009, that's when Mr. Savio from Sikich did a presentation on the prior year's audit. And that was presented as part of the manager's report. So it was before comments from the audience on agenda items. So I'm curious, if necessary, do the residents have a chance to raise any questions directly to the auditors?
No.
Okay. Could I give something to you to ask?
You can definitely ask me to ask,
Okay.
or you can ask any
decide.
trustee to ask also.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Appreciate that. And it's my understanding that the report would be filed with the State Controller's Office after we've gone through this next meeting and approval? Okay. Last question on this thread is, last meeting I raised the point of the Treasurer's report, wondering if anyone's looked into that to determine if it's necessary.
I don't know that it's necessary, but I think it's a good idea. And I think it may be something that moving forward we can incorporate.
Okay, thank you. All right, so switching quickly to the budget. First, thank you all for all your work and spending a Saturday working on that. I'd also like to thank Mr. Robinson for recording it. I found that helpful. And I just make a suggestion. It's great that we've advertised it on Facebook and we've used the language, come attend and be part of the conversation. But I think it would be great if the village could have recorded it or stream it, whatever. I mean, 3 days notice, people show up. If they're interested or not, then they have a chance, right? One question or topic that came up I want to echo or really feel strongly about is the fact that we get an audit that we're trying to put to bed. We're looking ahead another year, but we don't really have, in my opinion, our arms around the current year. So I'm a big fan of current cash and investments. And I think the village could gain a lot of credibility by getting into a cadence of reporting cash balances and investments. Not suggesting anything that's nefarious, but I do think it's a critical. I mean, you go to see a doctor, they take your blood pressure, right? You go to see a financial analyst, they want to know your cash, right? So enough said. The board meeting next on the 23rd is when a public hearing will be held on the budget. So I'm assuming this Thursday you would be sending out a public notice. Should I look for that in the Suburban Life? I think isn't there a 10-day notice before the meeting, a public hearing is required? So just be in your conscience to remind you about that. And I'll close with a couple of quotes that I want to read from last year's budget package. And I'll give you page numbers if you need.
No, just
okay.
Read them.
Last year's Finance Department overview included the mission of the Finance Department: ensuring village investments comply with the village's adopted investment policies. My thought bubble there is, you approved the parking lot purchase, right? And in my humble opinion, I look at it and say it's a speculative investment. So legally, you're probably cool, but I would encourage you, if you haven't, to sail it past the auditors to make sure that that doesn't kind of go square off the trails with what a defined investment policy is. Also, the Finance Department's mission included timely, complete financial information to the village board, the staff, and the public. Right. So that, again, last year's report. Third point from last year. Accomplishing budgetary control includes a method of analysis and prepared monthly reports comparing revenues and expenditures. Monthly reports comparing revenues. Two things. These quotes from last year, I don't see anywhere in the current budget package. The comparable placeholder would be page 23. Maybe it's yet to be done, but I think these are fundamental requirements of a finance department. So I encourage you to get that into the documents as objectives, and anxiously wait to see actual numbers. But those are my comments on the process.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
My name is John Pluto. I live in Grange. I sent out an email this morning, and I'd like to read that so everyone could hear that here. Will anyone be attending the Park District meeting prior to our meeting tonight? I did. This is a very important subject as it pertains to our problems in the 5th and 6th depression areas of the South Basin. I know all of you are working diligently on our South Basin project to resolve our flooding around Sedgwick Park. I would hope you as leaders of this community would be working with the Park District on this issue hand in hand with proper remediation proposals for the hazards that exist at the 5 acres marked on the map as Tier 3. May I also note there's a 1964 water line that runs across that park, which the Public Works Department informed me of the correct date of that line since I didn't know that. It services Bluff Avenue, which the village and the Park District have an easement agreement on a square footage of property in the parking lot at 47th Street by the tennis courts. And that project was done in February 22nd of 2010. Let's step back a moment and discuss things we know for certain. In 1986, the village had an area adjacent to the north side of 47th Street at Bluff, and the village found a water line located 2 feet north of the curb line between Bluff and the railroad tracks had severely corroded in 10 years. This section of pipe was replaced with PVC in 1987. During the replacement, potentially contaminated soil was observed, which had strong odor. Watkins, 1996. He was our Public Works Director at the time. This information can be found on the Illinois EPA Document Explorer. A remedial investigation plan for the former LaGrange manufacturing gas plant site at 47th and Bluff was provided by Huff & Huff Incorporated, environmental consultants of LaGrange in 1996. In a letter, the EPA, September 27, 1996, to Mr. Huff, the EPA conditionally approves subject work plan and requests the following comments be addressed. The municipal PVC water line located along the south property line of the former coal tar tanks is of great concern to the agency. It is determined if any amount of contamination is present in that area, the PVC water line, the agency will require contaminated soil beds removed and water line exposed and checked for deterioration. At other sites, the agency had experienced rapid deterioration of PVC monitoring wells placed in coal tar tanks and creosote contaminated soils. On October 3rd, 1996, Mr. Huff wrote back on 10/10/96, the village public works department will expose the PVC water main. The same chemicals are coal tar related products found at the park. The water line in 1964 runs from 49th Street to 12th Avenue and is shown on the Park District topographical map. And it is close to soil bores number TSC 24 and TSC 16 soil bores, which were found to be contaminated with 4 benzo contaminants. Additionally, with lead and mercury contamination. Has the Village of LaGrange taken these matters into consideration for the safety of their municipal water lines feeding Bluff Avenue? We know the EPA stated back in 1996 coal tar waste and steel and PVC are deteriorated by this. Are you going to be proactive and address this issue with the Park District before they do their EPA minimum requirements and go along their merry way with the project? I would like you to pursue this matter, and I see nothing in our budget from last year on replacing that water line across that park. That water line is 61 years old and sits in a bed of possibly benzenes and other coal tar products. How can we effectively improve our infrastructure if the park comes in and does a whole redo project there, and we have to come back in and replace that line that goes from 49th to 47th. I don't see any future planning in this village, and it really kind of makes me depressed on how you people plan this village. Also, South Lyons Township, the sewer backup program, we're not eligible for that. But maybe someone could explain to me how we are taxed by South Lyons Township. I pay $85 on my tax bill to them, plus my every 2 months on my water usage. The sewers in LaGrange are covered by the general fund. Is there a different calculator for the LaGrange tax base for people that live in South Lyons Township Sanitary District as opposed to the Village of LaGrange? are we, the people of South Lyons Township, getting dinged more for our sewer bills than we should be?
Thank you, Mr. Pluto.
Thank you.
Jonathan Robinson, I'm a resident. I recorded that meeting, so you can find it on YouTube tomorrow if you care to actually watch it. And I strongly encourage you to consider recording all of your smaller meetings. I attempted to utilize the electronic version of the code that we adopted in January. There's no link to it off of our website, so somebody needs to consider doing something with that. Additionally, while we were looking at it, one of the newer additions is from 2/8/45, and somewhere they're supposed to be appointed a budget officer. Can I ask who that is? Thanks.
Thank you. Oh, you're not done?
Well, everybody else got an
no, I
answer.
thought you said thanks, you were done, but.
I'm thanking you for your lack of an answer.
Okay.
Isn't appreciated. I'd like to note that this is the first time a vote has failed in the last 6 years. There's been 1,200 votes since we've actually failed a vote here. It's a pretty historic thing of what just happened, and thank you. Basically, I'm back to my issue. I can't move forward with my plan commission situation until something's addressed. Basically, I feel I've been treated very differently in this process than any other applicant. I specifically sent an email shortly after dropping my application off, stating my expectations from December 12th. I would have thought that there was an intake conversation or meeting about the situation with the village, and the village would be working dynamically with me to attempt to accomplish my goals in a manner that the village would find acceptable. I was hoping to get some assistance and input from the village staff and or village attorney. Please help me understand how this process normally works with communication with village staff and collaboration, and let me know what is possible on that front. I would love to dynamically work with the village to create scenarios to put up provisions that work both for my goals and the general goals of the village, and or provide 1, 2, or 3 options, a process to allow the plan commission to determine for themselves how steps forward toward my goal can be achieved. That was my email. It was responded with, and I was basically told that staff doesn't assist like that. They have no interest in doing that. I wasn't given a significant phone conversation, let alone a meeting or reasonable assistance. I was okay with that and assumed that was the truth. But when I listened to the official recording of the Plan Commission case 287 directly after my hearing at the January meeting, I noticed some inconsistencies with what I'd been told. In that hearing, the applicant specifically stated, "Charity, both knows we've talked. This has been in talks of like trying to figure out since, well, last year. You know what I mean," indicating that this applicant has had multiple conversations with staff about their application. Same text amendment as mine. In the hearing, the assistant village manager, Cherry, specifically said, quote, "With staff, we can certainly meet with you. We're happy to schedule something," end quote. New quote, "After this meeting, we can talk about your options, and then you can make a choice about how you want to proceed," end quote. New quote, "We're here to help facilitate the process for everyone involved," end quote. The assistant village manager's public statements are in complete contradiction to what I've been told and what I've experienced as an applicant. Please understand my extreme frustration because we had talked about a $1,500 bill from the village attorney for this project. I actually got the actual bill and it's $2,871. Along with the 2.9 hours at the actual hearing, I was billed 1.8 hours. 1.8 hours on the same day as the hearing for the village attorney to talk to staff, and also for the village attorney to have a significant conversation with the assistant village manager and the plan commissioner that directed that hearing and the chairperson. All 4 sat down with the village attorney. If it would have been to my benefit or for my advantage, I would have been invited. So I'm going to assume it was there for what it really was to handle me. And that's completely inappropriate. I don't need handled, I needed helped. And that's what I asked for from the beginning. And this process has been the exact opposite. I now sit $4,300 in the hold of this village to try to step forward and do something that the Plan Commission has already agreed to. I'm simply trying to advocate for this community in a way that's And instead, I've got $4,300 worth of debts, $2,800 of it being attorney's fees. The case directly before mine, 285, was the same amendment. There was no meeting that needed to happen to prep before that hearing. The village attorney didn't show up to that plan commission meeting. They were billed $938. I was billed 5 times that amount, and I'm not even complete. That's completely inappropriate. I'm asking and begging for some help with this situation.
What exactly are you asking for?
I'd like to continue forward without being excessively billed.
So you want the charges waived, and you're going forward with what?
At least those 2 provisions that the Plan Commission approved, or improved in kind. Basically, my issue was because the village wouldn't work with me, my provisions weren't legally ready and weren't to the standards that they wanted because no one would work with me. So they would have voted them through if they would have been updated, but they had to hold them to go back and make them legally reasonable. And that's the only reason I have to have a second one. And I continue to get billed is because no one would help me in the first place. If I would have got the same meetings as 287 or 285, or I would have gotten help, I would have been done. Those 2 would have gone to you guys to vote for.
I was just asking, I was just trying to get what you wanted. I don't know if there's anything we can do, but I'm trying to figure out what you wanted. And you want the $4,300 waived, and you want to continue on with 2 of the provisions.
At least. I mean, basically, I'm fine. You can have the $1,500 that was the original amount. That's fine. Anything over that, I believe, is excessive and a problem. That's what I'd like waived, and to be able to take at least those 2 provisions. And I would like to, if at all reasonably possible, to put the provisions I've been talking about a maximum reduction in setback towards smaller residents and a minimum buffer zone between smaller residences. I'd like to put that out there and have the Plan Commission create a number for both of those 2 things as well. That would be my ideal. But I am open to anything and everything, and I'm requesting any assistance or any options I can get.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I would open it to trustee comments. Trustee Augustine.
Thank you, President Kukler. In the last couple of weeks, many of us, certainly on this board and in boards of other towns, I'm sure, have begun to hear about a new initiative coming from the governor of Illinois. It's called the BUILD Initiative, and it stands for Building Up Illinois Developments Initiative, and it's a series of bills intended to confront Illinois high housing costs by stimulating new housing construction. So it's here to help us with the lack of housing in our state. How it goes about that is yet to be seen. It has not become law, but it's a pretty significant shift in how we would manage the zoning and the types of homes we'd have here. And I'm not struggling to understand it, but in talking with our council, it's been helpful to hear what it could be, what it might not be, and the ramifications, so we understand that as we plan and move forward. And I was hoping, as it sounds like Attorney Schuster has done with other towns, we would be open to hearing a presentation from him about what BUILD is, what it isn't, and how it may or may not affect us, so that we and the residents of Grange have a good understanding as we proceed with all things, including some of the code changes.
Sounds like a good idea. Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Any other trustee comments? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor say aye for adjourning at 8:46.
Aye.
Aye.
And we're adjourned. We will be back in 2 weeks. Thanks, everyone.